SSX, 1080, Coolboarders, and Amped have all failed where Sword of the Sea succeeds. These games are all iconic for a reason, as the gameplay was exhilarating, but they failed to capture the spirit of the sport. That outer body experience you get when carving down the mountain, that moment that your feet become one with the board and you become one with nature. Sword of the Sea manages to bottle this phenomenon and does for snowboarding what Journey did for hiking and what Abzu did for diving. If you're familiar with the previous work of Giant Squid and to some extent That Game Company, there is very little here in the way of surprises. The experience is short, the gameplay is light, and the narrative is extremely abstract. But there are few studios who are able to create beautiful and atmospheric experiences, and Sword of the Sea is another breathtaking adventure. Before we jump into the video, I just want to take a quick second to say thank you. I understand that life is busy and you have a lot of options on YouTube, so I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be here. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of the video. Sword of the Sea is an obvious open dialogue about environmentalism, but it could also be about finding shared ground with your enemy or even overcoming emotional challenges, as oceans and seas have long stood in as a metaphor for navigating personal grief. It's also very possible that Sword of the Sea is just an esoteric game about snowboarding that captures the spirit of the sport in a unique way that no other game has. Sports like mountain biking, surfing, and snowboarding aren't about chasing adrenaline highs. They're about reconnecting with nature in a way that just isn't possible on 2 feet. Adding even more complexity to the nature of Sword of the Sea, you play as an unnamed wraith, which has long been defined as a spirit or soul that hasn't crossed over yet due to unfinished business. Your quest is to restore vast oceans that have dried up and become massive deserts devoid of life. There are no waypoints, no quest log, and nothing to guide you, but thanks to the wonderful world design, you always know where to go, especially if you slow down and listen to what nature is telling you. Searching for purpose, you have the ability to transform flowing oceans of sand into waves of sparkling emerald water, teeming with marine life. Your journey takes you from the dunes of a majestic desert to the tops of glacial mountains and to the underground caverns where magma flows freely. The pacing of Sword of the Sea is fast as you move from one area to the next and you never feel stuck. The gameplay loop involves exploring the environment, solving light puzzles to restore life to the lifeless areas, and then moving on to the next biome. The gameplay is inspired by skate and snowboard classics like SSX and Tony Hawk, meaning that these colossal environments are not only beautiful and begging to be explored, but also to pull off flips, spins, and grabs. Of course, you don't have to do any tricks, as Sword of the Sea is incredibly accessible to everyone. If you just want to have a meditative and fluid boarding experience, you can do that. However, there is currency floating around the world that you can collect and exchange for new skills, but underneath it all, Sword of the Sea is keeping track of your score. Even though there are no elements or numbers on screen, you realize that after finishing the game, that your tricks were being tallied the whole time. Completing Sword of the Sea unlocks New Game Plus, which displays your score and your speed, which allows you to grind for maximum score as you explore every nook and cranny. The world of Sword of the Sea is one giant skate park. With most skateboarding and snowboarding games, momentum can come to these weird, abrupt, and almost shocking moments that take you out of the immersion. But by the power of black magic, Giant Squid is almost always able to keep movement and momentum going so that you are constantly immersed. Sword of the Sea features all of the Giant Squid essentials that you could want. The art style is timelessly gorgeous and will age like a fine wine. The gameplay is almost therapeutic as you constantly tap into flow states as you speed through these colossal environments. And once again, there is a collaboration with Austin Wintory, who is at his best when he's working with Giant Squid. There's something about the pairing of his scores with the vast environmental scapes of Giant Squid that is sublime. Criticisms for Giant Squid at this point are almost like a broken record. The experience is very short at just over a few hours. Gameplay takes a very minimalist approach as elements are quite thin with the exception of a few light puzzles, and there are boss fights that felt counterproductive to the flow that Sword of the Sea had established. The narrative, just like their previous games, is abstract, leaving the meaning open to interpretation, which might not be for everyone. At this point, there are no surprises with Giant Squid and the games that they create. They are tailors of interpretive environmental experiences. Journey was about hiking, and Abzu was about scuba diving. Giant Squid possessed the ability to encapsulate what makes these experiences magical, and Sword of the Sea is no exception, as it's another love letter to nature and reconnecting with it. Sword of the Sea is essentially a greatest hits from the studio classics with its combination of sand, sea, and speed merged into one experience. It might be short in length, light on gameplay, and abstract in meaning, But at the moments when you crest the summit, adore the stunning vista, and then descend downwards as the wind howls past your ears as the score plays in the background, the experience of Sword in the Sea is transcendent.